Well, to discuss how the scheme will help businesses, we're joined by Steve Witt, co-founder of Not Just Travel, which is a home-based travel agency based in Bournemouth, and also Anna Haugh, the head chef and owner of Myrtle Restaurant in Chelsea in West London. Anna, I think we're interrupting your shift actually, aren't we? Thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us. Steve, let's start with you. I know that you've already had to lose members of your staff. The ones that you do still have left, will you be using this scheme?
We'd like to, but I think it makes it very difficult because it just, as much as they talk about it being for viable jobs, they're not catering for all the work that has to be done in the travel sector, for example, which the Chancellor really hasn't catered for our type of roles, which we wouldn't necessarily class as viable because we're having to pay out for work that's not income generating. So it actually costs us more to employ people if we follow this scheme.
And Anna, what do you make of it?
Well, if I close my restaurant earlier, I still need staff to clear up and make sure the restaurant is in top shape. So I can't reduce their hours. So I can't really avail of this type of support because I'm not really going to reduce my staff's hours, but I will reduce profits. So I'm quite disappointed on the point of view that we're having more restrictions, and I don't see any kind of light at the end of the tunnel.
So I'm hearing quite a negative response from both of you. So Steve, is there anything that you think you can take from this?
I think the initiatives as a whole are good, but for us, if we followed the letter of the policy, it looks like we'll actually end up paying more than if we just employed people on a part-time basis. So we'll have to look long and hard at whether we make more redundancies. I mean, we are one of the biggest and fastest growing in our sector, but even for us, the travel industry is so widely affected and unsupported. We just have to take a step back and learn over the next couple of days the details, I think, before we can make a decision.
And when it comes to the details, when it comes to, Anna, the VAT being kept at 5%, I'm assuming that you are happy with that.
Well, keeping it on for another 3 months is a huge help, and that's the kind of incentives that we can really feel. So yes, of course, that is a huge support. And in the past, any of the other grants and the furlough, they were very easy to follow. They rolled out very smoothly, and I do think that's positive. But small restaurants like me, we genuinely need more support to be able to stay open long term and to keep the team employed.
And Steve, just going back to your point that it would cost you more to keep people on less hours, in terms of the spirit of the aim of this into keeping people in work, is that something that you could work with?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we as a company, we have employed as many people as possible when other people in our sector have not done. So we'll absolutely support the spirit of it. And we're in a strong position that we can do that. It's just, if you only worked on the numbers, it doesn't make financial sense. But of course, we'll do the right thing by everybody as we expect everybody to do.
And out of, Anna, the different measures that the government has been using to help the economy, I'm assuming, how was the Eat Out to Help Out scheme for you, for the restaurant?
Well, I mean, of course, it had very positive effect on, I think, every restaurant that applied it. But perhaps it kind of seems to have sent a mixed message because we have gone backwards on it. So the message now with the reduced numbers of the rule of 6 and with the curfew makes people just more kind of cautious. But we have a lot of safety measures in the restaurant. We take a lot of pride in how clean we are and all of the details. And we're trying to launch now a 9 p.m. menu, which is kind of like a light-hearted feel of getting still the experience of the restaurant. To kind of not let the curfew get you down if you like to dine out a little bit later.
And when it comes to the repayment of loans, the Chancellor was talking about this pay-as-you-grow scheme. Just give us your feedback. Does that affect your particular industry? How do you come across that?
I think that's been a very good and welcome message. We work with over 750 small businesses who are home-based sort of entrepreneurs, and they will definitely make the most of this, because cash flow is, for any small business, the most important thing. So anything that helps, and this definitely will help them.
And Anna, in terms of the mood in the restaurant and the kind of atmosphere there, how are your employees coping with everything that's going on?
They're amazing. I mean, it's a really hard time. It's very stressful and things are constantly evolving and changing. But I'm blessed. I have like the most glorious, hardworking people who work for me. And that's why I'm so driven to make sure that this restaurant survives, because I'm responsible for them and I want to make sure that they have a job to go to next month and for the next, you know what I mean, couple of decades. But yeah, the mood is still positive. We love our job.
That is wonderful to hear. Steve, I'm assuming the same for you. How are your employees going?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they've worked so hard, and the travel industry is used to dealing with situations, and they've got the respect of every single traveller. I think is a huge respect for people working in travel, as we do.
Yeah, you've got the toughest industries, both of you. Steve Witt from Not Just Travel, Anna Haugh from the Myrtle Restaurant. Thank you so much for taking the time. Anna, we'll let you get back to your shift. Thanks so much. Have a good one tonight.